Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about they replaced you so fast. Here's why.
Oh, man.
First of all, that first part is just horrible. Feeling like you've been replaced by somebody else is one of the worst feelings because it makes you feel like small and unimportant. Like I didn't really matter that much to this person, that they can just take what we had and find somebody new and think that that's going to be better.
Right. And then you're second guessing what you bring to a relationship if they were able to replace it so quickly. Were they just wanting any partner? And what did that relationship mean?
Yeah. When this happens, it is a massive amount of panic and anxiety, and we catastrophize, and it literally feels like the end of the world. I know what that feeling is like. When you find out there's somebody else in the picture, you're just like, it feels like this new person is extremely meaningful and wonderful and perfect, and you've just been forgotten about, and they're just going to completely move on and never look back.
Oh, yeah. And I find that it's human nature to concoct an image of who that person is in your mind without ever having known that person.
Yeah.
So we think of them as the better version of ourselves. They're more athletic, they're smarter, they're funnier. We just imagine them to be this perfect person, and it highlights all of our insecurities. And we've already taken a beating from the breakup.
Yeah.
So our self-esteem can be at an all-time low when we see this. It can be really difficult to work through.
It is, and I've seen that a lot recently, and especially if you dated somebody who's avoidant and they kind of don't take any responsibility for the breakup and they put it all on you, you really start to beat yourself up because you're like, well, they gave me this reason and that reason, and it's like, man, I can't believe they would leave because of these things. And then to replace you with somebody else makes it 10 times worse because you feel like, well, that's it. They're going to be with this new person forever.
Oh, yeah. And what's wild is they will be so convinced about this new relationship and seeming so happy if you see them on social media, but we don't know the full story. A lot of times jumping into that next relationship super quickly, it is indicative of them not processing. It's indicative of them not really going through those different emotional states and just trying to avoid, move on to the next. And so
it's like a fantasy.
Yeah.
It's like reality's too painful. I don't want to deal with what happened. I don't want to deal with what I did wrong. I don't want to deal with being single or alone. So they jump into something new, a fantasy where they think they're magically going to get their needs met by somebody that they don't even know.
Right. And all of those unresolved issues, they inevitably resurface. You can't just poof away those relationship issues that pop up, those dysfunctional patterns. Those don't just disappear overnight, and they are likely to repeat. So if somebody moves from one relationship to the next without really processing, going through self-reflection, it is likely they are going to go into the same cycle.
Yeah, and a lot of people worry about that. Like a lot of people will ask me like, well, do you think it's going to work with this new person? Meanwhile, they've told me about all of these really toxic traits that their ex had, and they're worried that they're going to magically be better for somebody new.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
And I would even go as far as to say, if you were to get your ex back literally the next day or next week or next month, likely you'll probably repeat a lot of the same mistakes too, and likely so will them.
Yep.
So we have to be realistic when we're approaching relationships, and especially when we're talking about mental health. And I know our mind, just like our mind likes to concoct who that other person is, we like to think about that perfect scenario. Oh, they're so in love. Oh, they've fixed all of their issues, and now they're able to give that next person everything they couldn't give me. But most of the time, that's not reality. We don't see that happen.
No. In those first 3 to 4 months, it's really easy to make a relationship work. It's just, lust and passion and fun and excitement. But then as you start to see somebody's personality come out, you might not gel with them at all. They may have serious attachment issues or mental health issues that you don't see at first. You might be attracted to them physically, but then you start talking to them and you're like, whoa, I got to get out of here. What is this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So transitioning from that lust in the beginning and the fantasies of this magical new person to somebody who actually lines up with you and, is a good mesh or fit long term, that doesn't come out right away.
Right. And this can actually work in your favor. A lot of times they are comparing, contrasting. Oh, well, my ex didn't do this, my ex didn't do that. But when we're talking about replacing a person that we were emotionally connected to and attached to, that's not something that you can replace at all. People are so unique. Each connection is so unique. And so that comparison might be there initially, but depth takes time. Intimacy takes time. To get to know someone really takes time. And, on that end, it can be a benefit of, okay, they're going to distract themselves with this other person. Those issues are going to come up. Those cycles will repeat. And then the issues will be ever more present. It's harder to ignore a pattern when you start to break down what the common denominator is time after time.
And it's so hard not to meddle or get involved.
Oh my gosh.
When you see your ex dating somebody new, you want to start attacking the new person, insulting the new person.
Don't do it.
Stay away from it. Let it fall apart on its own volition. Leave them alone. It's only going to make you look bad, right? Because right now they think this new person is magical and perfect. And they need to see for themselves that they're not. But that's going to happen on its own time. In that meantime, what you want to do is focus on growth. Looking at the patterns that you guys were struggling with in a relationship. Where were you failing in the relationship? Were you failing in the relationship? Where can you do things better? How can you recreate attraction, right? Not everybody has this mindset, unfortunately, of really staying emotionally attuned and attentive to their partner. A lot of people take their partner for granted. I think that's one of the biggest reasons relationships fail, is that you just assume that however you treat somebody, they're going to stay and tolerate it forever. And I think that a healthy mindset is always looking at somebody like, I love this person, I value them, and I want to do my best to make them happy and have a great relationship with them.
Right. And it does take a lot. That's having that kind of attitude and mentality and really value system around relationships to be able to do that. On not speaking poorly about whoever is new in your ex's life, you have to be careful with this one, because you don't want to add more fuel to the fire. You don't want to give them more reason to think, oh, you see, my ex was problematic. And you don't want them to have something that they now can bond over. Oh, my ex is being so crazy. I'm so glad I have you. And you see what you've rescued me from now.
It's true.
So
a united front against you.
Yes. You want to really stay true to who you are, and don't allow their new person to become a distraction for you as well. They might be using that person as a distraction, but it doesn't mean that you have to. Doesn't mean that you have to put any more energy towards that person, that situation.
The new person looks perfect. They look amazing. They haven't seen their flaws. They know your flaws. They know that you do things to annoy them, the quirks that you have, the differences that you have. Right now, they're not seeing that. So, and I've used this one for years, it's Toy Story.
Oh.
Right? In the beginning, when Andy gets Buzz, Woody gets dropped to the floor. Uh-huh. And he's so excited about the new toy.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to play. And then he drops poor Woody in slow motion, right?
Oh, man.
But that's what it feels like. That's what it felt like for me when I went through my breakup. I know that feeling. It's a horrible feeling. And it's like Buzz Lightyear is now the perfect, wonderful toy. And there's nothing you can do about it. So you got to stay away. But eventually, guess who went to college with Andy? Woody did. And Buzz got dropped in the garbage bag.
Oh, no.
So hopefully that'll happen for you.
So it can be difficult working through seeing your partner be in a new relationship. That feeling of being replaced can really dig up a lot of old wounds, childhood wounds, and that's a lot to look at too. We always recommend going to local therapy. We're always here for coaching to help out too. We really want to get you to that next step of being able to work through this and also see beyond it. I know in the moment when you're getting updates on social media or from mutual friends about what's going on, it can all feel very in your face. It can all feel very unavoidable, and it can feel very urgent.
It's horrible. Oh. It really just feels like this is it. This is the end. Now they're dating somebody new. I'm out. Nothing I can do. They're going to be together forever.
Yeah.
Very rarely does that happen. Occasionally it does, but most of the time it falls apart, and then they start to think about you.
Yeah, right? And the real test is taking care of you through it. is being able to say, okay, this is the situation I'm in, this is what I'm going through, this is what I am feeling, and I can take care of myself through it. I know a lot of times we start to get messages about our worth based on what our ex is doing. If our ex is giving us attention, we feel worthy. If our ex is giving somebody else attention, we don't feel like we're enough, or we feel like we're not matching up. So we need to be able to take care of ourself, our mental health, our self-esteem during this time. That is the true test.
Absolutely. It's very difficult to see your ex dating somebody else. Breakups are very painful on its own, but when there's another person involved, it makes you feel even worse, even more hypervigilant to the situation and what's going on with your ex, and you can't get into a good place for when they return.
Exactly.
All right. Hopefully this one's been helpful to you. If you'd like to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.